Galactic Confederacy. Emergency meeting to discuss the Terran issue. I was the senior survivor of our people's political caste. I was a senior attaché to the ruling conclave of the Great Imperium. For centuries, without count, we had ruled our corner of the galaxy without question. When we found a world with resources that we needed or wanted, we took it. If there was sentient life, they served us or they died. It was a cycle as simple and accepted as the rising and setting of our suns. We had found a world at the edge of our space. It had large deposits of heavy and rare metals. We weren't surprised that it had been claimed already. What did surprise us was that the race was unknown to the greater cosmos. This meant we could easily take the world without international harm. And so we did. It took longer than we thought, far longer than normal. The military of this planet was quite strong and large for the size of the population it represented. At first, we didn't want to destroy the infrastructure. The spaceports, buildings, roads, and mine networks would be quite valuable to us, as the locals knew it. We had captured their largest spaceport. High General Nutvok was about to make the victory official, when in a flash of bright white light it vanished. The Terrans had detonated a crude fusion reactor within it. It destroyed the entire spaceport and the 41st Legion. We've seen acts like this before. We knew they were desperate, and history had taught us one strong offensive would make them crumble. Again, how wrong we were. In areas we had occupied, we found where they had vandalized their own buildings, with crude images of our army being vaporized. We intercepted more find images that depicted the High General finding out, as they put it. We crushed this wherever we could. We caught a group of young in the process of making a crude image. Our justice was swift, as we suspended them by their feet in the center of their town. We kept them there until they died of exposure. We thought our message was clear. Again, we were wrong. This was met by what we later found out was the parents of these children running into the barracks of our troopers. They had explosive-laden vests on them, which they detonated. They died, along with over 200 loyal soldiers. This was new to us. We didn't know how to handle an enemy that would commit suicide just to commit graticide. We thought, luckily, we had blocked all outgoing comms from this world. Whatever happened here would stay here. I don't know if they managed to sneak a signal through, or if a passing ship relayed what was happening. Had we been successful, the events of New Roanoke would have just been a colony vanishing. We did take the world, though, at the cost of over 1 million Gret and the infrastructure of the entire world. It would take us many years before we could extract any of the planet's resources. Yet the ruling conclave proclaimed victory and announced the expansion of our borders. All was well, for only a few months. I was in council. My job was to research arguments for High Council Liege Jotodladrog, when a ship suddenly came out of FTL. They hailed our council chamber directly. On our comm screen we saw a Terran. They addressed us in perfect Higher Gretsch. This is the Terran diplomatic vessel Carrot. I am Secretary of State John Freer. I am here to address the loss of our Roanoke colony to your forces, and to negotiate peace between our races. I have been authorized by the Terran Republic to broker any deal that serves our needs, he stated. The fact that they had learned the language of our political caste was as amazing as it was insulting. For the first time in my life, the first time in hundreds of cycles, High Ruler Iolavak spoke directly. Terrans, you have violated our space. Withdraw immediately or we will burn all of your worlds. Your children will be our slaves, your mates our meals, he said. I risked a glance at him and saw the anger and rage flowing from his eyes. I knew today would be a day long marked in our history. Negative, High Ruler. My orders are to resolve this situation. You destroyed one of our worlds and killed our people. The Terran Republic is willing to accept a formal apology and reparations in an amount we can discuss, the Terran ambassador replied. I was no expert in the body language of an inferior species, but something told me he wasn't negotiating in good faith. Ready orbital defenses. Blast that ship out of our sky, but keep his body intact. I want it displayed here, ordered the High Ruler. Very well, we will depart. We tried peace. I hope you and your history remember this. Terrans will ask for peace, we will negotiate for it, and we will fight for it. But we will never surrender for it. The communication channel closed, and we saw their ship turn to leave. Normally, our orbital defenses should respond within a few heartbeats, or being ordered by the High Ruler. The audacity of the Terrans had prevented me from wondering why they weren't responding. What happened next is why I'm here to testify. A massive ship deactivated its stealth field. It was easily 3 times larger than our famed and dreaded battlecruisers. It shifted its orbit, and I caught our sun highlighting what I later learned to be Terran Marine Corps, and its name, Terran Republic Warship Stick. Why are our orbital defenses not responding? Shouted the High Ruler. High Ruler, they've been sabotaged. We cannot activate any planetary defenses, not even ground-based, replied a nameless technician. High Ruler, they're sending craft down, I announced, at the sight of a smaller craft coming out of the massive warship. Never in our recorded history had an enemy stepped foot on our soil. Oh, a number had tried, only to die in the vacuum of orbit. I felt my temperature drop, as I realized that without its crown world, our Imperium might fall. I was captured relatively quickly. The rest of the ruling conclave had been executed. The Terrans surprised me by using a quick firing squad. I could tell they had learned a lot about our anatomy. Each marksman fired for our nerve stem. Death was instant and painless. I learned they had been studying us since the first engagement over their colony. They had stealth ships in our home system since we took their colony. They had been scanning everything. Our cultural broadcasts, military orders, our technology, and us ourselves. They knew everything about us. I had expected to be tortured, but I wasn't. I was questioned, at length and in detail. The fact that my interrogator was actually kind to me was a shock in itself. I was able to ask questions as well. I learned a lot about their history, their home world, and their race. The concept of a world war is something that still interrupts my dream cycles to this day. The fact that they had not just one, but 3. They released me when they found out about the larger galactic community. They sent me here both to express their optimism for peace, but as a warning in case. The most important thing I learned of them is this. When a Terran offers you a carrot, take it. If you don't, you will experience the stick.